Samer Sinijlawi is the chairman of the Jerusalem Development Fund and an opposition member of Fatah. He spoke to the media line on the sidelines of a Tel Aviv University conference. Polls show that a majority of Palestinians support the October 7th attacks by Hamas. How is peaceful coexistence possible given this fact?
I don't believe in polls during the war. Now, if you want to test the feelings of the Israelis and Palestinians, you will find only anger, grief, and maybe hatred, which is understandable. The Israelis were shocked on the 7th of October. They have paid heavy price. They have seen terrible things, and it affected them. And now the Palestinians every day see terrible things happening in Gaza, and it affects them. So I don't think that polls are helpful for anybody during the war to understand or to judge on a nation. I know the Palestinians, I know the Israelis. The majority of Israelis, the majority of Palestinians would like to find a way out of this conflict. It's that they don't trust each other. This is the main challenge. So the main task for any political leadership should be how to try to create this confidence, this trust. And I think that maybe we, the Palestinians, should do the first step. We should be able to stand up, develop a strategy and a language that can touch the hearts and the minds of the Israelis. Because I know the Israelis, you cannot pressure them. The Israelis, you can persuade them. So it's useless to continue the current Palestinian strategy, which is trying to create international pressure over Israelis. The only way for Palestinians to reach to something with the Israelis, the path towards this achievement, towards this progress, does not go via Washington, D.C. It goes via Tel Aviv. And here we need to be present as Palestinians, convey message to the Israelis. We need to convince them that they can trust that there will be opportunity for peace. And for us also, we need to be here also to learn about what are the concerns of the Israelis. How do the Israelis see this conflict from their eyes? When I start learning more about how the Israelis see this conflict, and when the Israelis start knowing how the Palestinians see this conflict, then we will be able to judge on what are the steps necessary to bring us somewhere else.
You mentioned earlier that it is important for each side to listen. Could you explain this further?
Well, unfortunately, now the Palestinians and Israelis have reached to a place where they don't know each other at all, where they judge each other in a very negative way. And it has reasons. The most important reason is the media, for example. On the Palestinian media, we always talk about negative things on the Israeli side. On the Israeli media, they always talk about bad things on the Israeli side. And this accumulated, this bad communication has created a lot of mistrust, a very big gap. And this is the real enemy of both the Israelis and the Palestinians. The ignorance. We don't know each other. We need to challenge this. And it is very easy to reach to the Israelis, and it's very easy for the Israelis to reach to the Palestinians if we want. And we are taking the first step. We are trying now to reach to more Israelis. We are trying to open doors for both nations to understand each other. And this will lead to some kind of trust that will make the Israelis feel more comfortable they can do something with the Israelis, with the Palestinians. We need to work on this. We are at the beginning. Everything needs time, but I am totally confident that there is a constituency for peace, very strong, the majority on both the Israeli and Palestinian side.
You mentioned several times that as a Palestinian resident of Jerusalem, you feel some responsibility for the good and bad of both sides. How has it been to deal with this dualism after October 7th?
We need to start learning how to feel the grief of the other side. Because by the end of the day, before being Israelis or Palestinians, we are human beings. if I cannot feel the pain and the grief of the Israelis on the 7th of October, if the Israelis are not able to feel the pain and the grief of the Palestinians every day now in the war, we will not be able to understand how we can maneuver the relation between us. So it's a matter of principle. Uh, this conflict has brought us to a situation that we started thinking that everything is permissible. I can do whatever I want to to the other side, which is wrong. We should be able to draw moral red lines. There are red lines that we cannot cross, even if we don't manage to have an end to this conflict. And one of these red lines is that we cannot kill each other. There is nothing that can justify the killing of civilians on the 7th of October. And also, nothing can justify killing 15,000 kids in Gaza during the war. We are human beings. We should fight the dehumanization of the other side. The other side is also families and kids. We need to understand this, and we need to appreciate and defend the lives of the others. I should be able to teach myself to shed the same tears on any victim on the Israeli side, and they should be able to realize that also losing any human being life on the Palestinian side is a tragedy. One kid to be killed is a lot of tragedy. It doesn't really matter if this kid was from Kfar Azza in the envelope of Gaza or 2 kilometers away in the city of Gaza. A kid is a kid, and a life of a human being is a life of a human being. We should appreciate, and we should defend, and we should try to save lives, and we should put moral red lines in this conflict, and we should build bridges and try to gain trust. Maybe we don't have a lot of time to create a trust bottom up. Maybe we need now to create the trust among leaders, to start with leaders and then have a process of top down. This is what could give us an exit strategy from this conflict.
What are your thoughts as a member of the opposition to Mahmoud Abbas on Fatah's current political stand at this historic time?
But they are lacking leadership, they are lacking vision, they are lacking accountability, they are lacking transparency. Abbas has failed to bring dignity to the Palestinians. Economic development has failed to bring democracy, has failed to respect the rights of his people. If a leader is not capable to respect the rights of his people internally, how can he claim that he can represent these rights in front of the other? First of all, he should be able to respect the rights of his people internally, the freedom of speech. We have seen Palestinian activists who have been killed because only they have showed some kind of criticism against Abbas, like Nizar Banat in 2021. We have seen this president canceling every single election since 2005 when he was elected for a term of 4 years, and then he continued to self-employ himself for years and years. He has been ruling now for 20 years, and every Palestinian feel that he is now a hostages in the bunkers of Abbas, and we need to be released from Abbas. We need to be released from this style of leadership that is dictatorship, authoritarian, corrupt. The Palestinians are fed up from the corruption that Abbas brought upon them in the West Bank and from the destruction that Hamas brought upon them in Gaza. The Palestinians would like to see a leadership that can offer them construction, hope, a leadership that can show them that despite the difficulties inside the Israeli side, we are able to have some kind of a working relation, because any progress needs to come with acceptance from the Israelis. And it has been proven to us that nothing helps us. The pressure from the international community will not move the Israelis 1 meter ahead. But if we are able to communicate with them, to touch their hearts and their minds, I'm sure we will be able to walk a lot of steps ahead.
From Tel Aviv, Georgia Valente reported for the Media Line.